Hi guys, welcome back to Kabiga's Movie Reviews, and today we're looking at The Breakfast Club, a film directed by John Hughes and starring Emilio Estevez, Anthony Michael Hall, Judd Nelson, Molly Ringwald, Ali Sheedy and Paul Gleason. A group of high school kids with nothing in common find themselves in detention together on a Saturday, and overseen by their authoritarian assistant principal and nothing to do for 8 hours, they embark on a voyage of mutual and self-discovery.
Now you may or may not be aware of a group of entertainers known as the Rat Pack. They were prevalent in the 50s and 60s, and they were consisted of, but not limited to, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. among others. And in the 80s we had the Brat Pack, and they consisted of Emilio Estevez, Judd Nelson, Ali Sheedy and Molly Ringwald among others. And they made 2 films together, St. Elmo's Fire and this one that we're talking about, The Breakfast Club. Now as far as plot goes, this film doesn't have much of one. It's a group of high school kids in detention, and you stay with them for the entire runtime of the movie, within the bounds of the school. Pretty much anyway, and it's all the better for it. There's no car chases, no CGI, no action sequences, no fight scenes. There's threats of violence and there is, allusions to drug use, but it's done so charmingly well that you don't mind and you enjoy the ride, and you're along with the characters for their voyage of self-discovery and mutual discovery as they learn tolerance about each other. And that's basically it. There's not a lot I can say about this film. It's quite static, really. There's some standout dancing moments, some really funny moments in the library, and some quite emotional ones as well. The performances are really good. They're quite believable and they really go all out, and you really feel for them at some points. So what makes this movie is its soundtrack, and we've had this before with a couple of my videos where the film's a bit naff. This one isn't naff, actually. It's a really good film, but the soundtrack is what makes it. This one is slightly different because this soundtrack was pretty much universally panned, except for there's one song that remains to this day a standout moment, and that's Simple Minds' Don't You Forget About Me, which was written for this movie. Now, believe it or not, Jim Kerr and Simple Minds refused to do this recording for this film initially, because their view was, and I'm going to read this out so that I get it right. Jim Kerr said, "We are Simple Minds. We don't do songs that sound like Simple Minds." Because this song was written with Simple Minds in mind, he didn't want to do it. They wanted to do their own music. But eventually they relented and recorded it, and it became, to this day, as far as I'm aware, one of their biggest hits and one of the most enduring songs of the 80s, and gave us probably one of the most enduring movies of the 80s as a result, because the music works so well with this film. So it's ironic that people tend to think of this movie as a cheesy film with a great soundtrack, whereas it's really actually pretty much the other way around. It's a great film with one great song. I enjoyed this movie, and I can watch it again and again because it is so endearing and so inoffensive. There's nothing that you can really get upset about with it. You could watch it on a Saturday with the family, or you could watch it on a Sunday afternoon, and it's quite alright. I wouldn't watch it with younger kids because of the older references and the older themes, but definitely give it a watch. This film, I score this film as 8 out of 10.
Thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe to see all future content.